working. So yeah, start us off here, Matt, and you can use again if it's just right now performance potential, all of these things, and
Okay.
please be careful because I've got Kotkaniemi jersey. I know that you're a big fan as well. So
It's so tough, and like just seeing the way Brady's playing right now is like how do you not pick him? And I love both Kachucks. The moment that we passed on him and took Kotkaniemi, like I was excited about the Kotkaniemi pick, but just the thought of having to deal with Brady for the next 10, 15 years was brutal. And sure enough, it has been. And him, Stutzla, and Josh Norris look really strong together right now. And Brady is like the consistency that this kid has. Like every season so far, he's finished around 45 points. Like, and I love seeing that in a player, just that pinpoint consistency in their output. And he just brings so much to the game. Now, so obviously, right now, if I had to pick, it'd be Brady for sure. And he's got plenty of potential too. Like, but the thing is, we all knew he was more NHL ready coming in. Right off the bat, we knew Kotkaniemi was going to be a project. He's playing the harder position, no doubt. He's not getting nearly as many minutes, and he was a tall, lanky kid, and that's what he was drafted at. He needed to fill out, and we know the type of game that he likes to play. He likes to be aggressive in the corners, and use his size to muscle past people, and he doesn't quite have the size yet to do that. He falls a little bit too easily. He's a little awkward sometimes, but the more he matures, I think he's going to become a really special player. One of these guys, and I compared him to Getzlaff in the past. Not flashy, but just does everything very, very well. And you're just not sure what you're going to get from him on any given night because he's just good at everything. I don't know. So in the long term, I'd go Kotkaniemi, and that's hoping that he does reach his ceiling. But yeah, definitely right now it's Brady.
good answer. Who's next here, Alex? I want to get your take because you're a little bit more unapologetic when it comes to our Habs players usually.
No, I mean I love Kotkaniemi, but I'd pick Brady Tkachuk for sure. Um, I think he's everything you want in a player, right? He's the reason we love Brendan Gallagher. Tkachuk is basically Brendan Gallagher but bigger. He seems to be developing points wise as well. Like his stats line there is pretty good. Like Matt was saying, pretty consistent ever since he started in the NHL. I think he's been top 10 in the league in both shots and hits in every season since he's started. And I think he's just one of those guys that when the team's not going, he's there to pick everyone else up and get people playing, right? Exactly like Gallagher. Whereas Kotkaniemi, I can see developing into a player like Getzlaff, a 60, 70, maybe even 80-point guy if he reaches the top of his potential. But I don't think he's one of those guys who makes the rest of the team better. I think Tkachuk, you know what you're getting every single night. Yeah, he might take some dumb penalties sometimes, but especially in the playoffs too, I think he's exactly the kind of guy you want. Like I said, I hope Kotkaniemi develops. I love him as a player. I want to see him succeed, but I'd pick Tkachuk.
Justin,
No,
that was a
Matt,
good answer,
you
by
go
the way.
first.
Me? Okay,
Yeah,
all right.
I'm the
fair
host of
enough.
the segment. Come on.
Okay, all right, fair enough, fair enough. All right. I mean, you guys said it. I think that there's too many ifs right now with Kotkaniemi to be like saying like Jesperi Kotkaniemi for this segment. However, what I will say, and you brought it up, Matt, is he's a centerman, and I don't think Brady Tkachuk just because of his position is as valuable. And I'm a centerman stroker. I 100% take that on. But when you look at teams that need a player, I think that the value that Jesperi Kotkaniemi could potentially bring to your team at the most important position is something that you need to take into consideration in this. And I know that Sens fans are going to be like, you're a fucking idiot. It doesn't matter. For me, there's a huge part here that as a centerman and the skills that Jesperi Kotkaniemi is showing at the tender age of what? He just turned 20 like recently. He's like one of these 10th youngest player in the league. So there's a lot of questions, but I do think that again, in the long run, Jesperi Kotkaniemi for the value that you're getting for an NHL team is why I would choose him. But for now, again, Brady Tkachuk. So a little bit of a redundant answer here, but that's why.
Yeah. So I mean, good answers from all of you. I think everything's pretty logical. I think Brady Tkachuk is kind of one of those players that you hate playing against, but you love on your team, and any team would love to have him, like a Darcy Tucker or Marchand or Gallagher.
Tom Wilson.
Exactly. All of those kinds of players that kind of have an impact on the energy of the team and also on the score sheet, which is like a huge plus. The only thing I'd say about Brady Tkachuk versus Jesperi is that Brady Tkachuk came up on a bottom of the bucket Ottawa Senators team. So he was kind of given the creativity and the ice time to do whatever he really wanted and to develop at his own pace on a team that really had no business even winning, getting to the playoffs or winning games. So that's the only reason I would say that I think his numbers and maybe his development is a bit maybe
Skewed.
overstated skewed compared to Jesperi Kotkaniemi's, who was on, I mean, still a shitter of a team on the Habs, but he played more of a role of being a support player instead of being like that player that's like, we want to hype this player up to be one of our top forwards, to play 20 minutes a night and get all the power play time that's possible. So I really think that like the numbers are a bit skewed, and if Jesperi Kotkaniemi maybe got the same opportunities as Brady Tkachuk, the numbers might be different, and we might be having a different conversation. But having said that, right now I'd say Brady Tkachuk, but I think, like Matt said, in the future, I want to say Jesperi Kotkaniemi.
It is a Habs podcast. I mean, it's gonna get there.
It's a Habs podcast, but all four of us picked Brady Tkachuk right now,
yes,
right?
but the long run, the dream is
the dream.
Kotka.
I mean,
Yeah.
real.
You gotta go.